Hi guys, and welcome to Catching Up. I haven't done one of these in a while, even a video in a while, but I've decided that I'm going to do 2 episodes of Catching Up back to back. For those who don't know, it's just a show where I review films that have come out recently. The 2 films here came out earlier in the year, but I'll talk about them anyway. One of them I saw a couple of days ago, which is the one I'm going to be reviewing next after this one, and this one I watched about a month or 2 ago when it first came out, like the week it came out. So first I'm talking about Cobain, Montage of Heck, the new Kurt Cobain documentary. So for those who don't know, and I find it highly doubtful there's no one out there who knows who Kurt Cobain is, he was the lead singer and guitarist for Nirvana, hugely successful band in the late 80s and early 90s. Of course, they were grunge, basically. That was the genre anyway, but I don't know, I more called them a punk band because, especially their earlier stuff, it was very fast. Compared to some other grunge bands, they sound very different. They sound much more punk than some other grunge bands, which are more metal influenced, but whatever. So yeah, they were hugely successful. Of course, in 1994, I believe, Kurt Cobain killed himself, and ever since then he's basically been considered to be this huge icon. Nirvana have gotten bigger and bigger as the years have gone by. Now it's starting to get to a point where you see people wearing their shirts and with their posters and stuff, and they're people that don't even know who they are. They just hear people are influenced by them, or just hear they're popular and think that they'll become a fan of them for attention or something. It's what's happening. It happened with like the Misfits and stuff, so now it's happening with Nirvana. So yeah, this documentary has been in production for a long time, but it didn't really start to go places until Kurt Cobain's daughter actually got onto the project, and she became the executive producer and allowed a lot of the footage and recordings and stuff that Kurt Cobain had done over the years, and allowed them to be shown in a documentary. And so the final documentary, which came out, I believe, May, it might have been the beginning of May. Yeah, it was the beginning of May. Beginning, mid, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, the documentary, it's comprised of interviews of people who are close to him, like Chris Novoselic, the bassist for Nirvana, not Dave Grohl, but that was mainly because he was busy touring and stuff, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what I read anyway. But also people like his ex-girlfriend, his family, Courtney Love, of course, his wife, and a lot of other people who knew him and all were influenced by him and knew a lot about his life. So the documentary just goes very in depth about him, starting from when he was a child, a lot of him growing up, and sort of the troubles he went through, including like his parents getting divorced and stuff, and how he was a bit of a troublemaker, so no one really wanted to keep him, so he kept being like pushed off to relatives and stuff, and him growing up, becoming like depressed and stuff, and then getting into punk music and starting Nirvana and stuff like that. And then of course a lot about Nirvana's success and the toll it had on him. And it basically, the whole film is basically 2 hours of getting inside the mind of Kurt Cobain and understanding him and who he was, really. And it's a very in-depth documentary, and it's really well made. Yeah, as I said, they get really in-depth about really personal things in there. And there's some really interesting bits where they've taken like audio diaries and stuff that he recorded, or just random recordings that he had, and they've like, using animation, they like create this story. Like there's like a diary thing where he talks about this story that happened when he was a teenager and when he used to just like cause trouble and stuff, and they like animate it and everything, so you're just watching this story with Kurt Cobain narrating it, and it's really well made and really interesting. It pretty exciting actually. So things like that are really, really nice touches. There's also a bit where they've got loads of different recordings of Kurt Cobain where he's playing guitar when he's like doing a demo. I think it's Sliver, or no, it's Been a Sun, I believe. Where you see him playing the guitar and singing it, and then he just goes bass solo and he's doing the bass part. Yeah, and there's a cartoon showing that. And there's also like where he left his tape recorder on by accident, and they've used things like that. And I think they're some of the most interesting parts in the documentary. In fact, they probably are the most interesting parts of the documentary. But that doesn't mean the rest of it's bad or uninteresting. All of it is really interesting. Yeah, over the 2 hours you feel closer and closer to Kurt Cobain than ever before. He was kind of mysterious, I guess, before, and this documentary just basically says exactly who he is. So it's something where if you're a fan of Nirvana, you'll probably end up watching the documentary and going back to their music and stuff, and the music will be a lot more emotional and a lot deeper than ever before, because now there's a lot of like meanings like that you didn't realise before, but now knowing a lot about him you can hear the meanings and stuff in the songs. I think that's something that I really enjoyed about the documentary. And yeah, it does get really depressing towards the end, which is expected. It's a film about someone who was very depressed and ended up killing himself. It's not going to be a happy film, but yeah, there's many very good bits in the film. There's a scene where there was like a radio interview where he was talking about a film called Over the Edge, and they end up showing a load of clips from the film, because it was he like really related to the film, and they're playing the song School from the Bleach album over that montage. I mean, he's talking about the film very briefly, and then there's like they play all of the song and have clips from the film, and I don't know, I really liked that. I thought it changed the pace, I guess, and you know, they do play a lot of Nirvana music throughout the film, which is good, because there's other documentaries about Kurt Cobain where they don't use any music. They're normally like the unauthorized ones, but yeah, this one has a lot of Nirvana music. There's a few unheard songs, I believe, just from old recordings that he did, and it's by himself in his house, sort of like in the same quality of the With the Lights Out box set, where there's loads of solo acoustic demos for songs like Clean Up Before She Comes and Opinion and stuff like that. So yeah, I felt that the documentary is really, really well made. All the interviews are really interesting. There's never really a dull moment in the documentary, and because of that I just loved it. As a big Nirvana fan anyway, I felt that it was really interesting to get to know this person even more than ever before, and the music throughout is really good because it's Nirvana music, and yeah, I guess there's not really much else I can say about the music. Don't know why I brought it up to begin with. So yeah, the documentary is one of the best I think I've seen in a while, maybe even ever. I would be very surprised if by the end of the year, when I do my favourite films of the year, if this wasn't in the top 5 or even #1 on the list, because it is a great film and definitely one I'd recommend. Even if you're not a Nirvana fan, it's a very interesting character, person, like, I don't know, profile sort of thing. It's very in-depth. You find out loads about this person and stuff that, you know, you wouldn't really know otherwise. And yeah, there's a lot of really good music choices in there. Like the final song in the entire film is their cover of Where Did You Sleep Last Night, from the Unplugged show in New York that they did, and that was just a perfect song to end the documentary on. There's a lot of home videos as well, which get very private at times, actually. I mean, there's a few scenes with him and Courtney Love where Courtney Love like undresses, which are not the most fun scenes to watch. But yeah, the rest of the documentary is really good, and I think these private things really help you get more into the mind of Kurt Cobain and really help you understand him, or what he went through and what drove him to ending his life. So yeah, it's a very, very good documentary. I definitely recommend it. Whether you're a fan of Nirvana or not, it's really worth checking out, because it's just really well made, interesting and emotional start to finish. So yeah, if I was to rate it, I'd give it a full out 10 out of 10, because it's a great documentary. So yeah, that's catching up. I literally, the last one I did was like last year now, so I just thought I should get 2 out now, because I'd seen these 2 films. I hadn't done a video in a while, so yeah, now to SpongeBob. Huge switch in tone. So yeah, thanks for watching Catching Up, and the next episode where I review the new SpongeBob film will be out in a couple of days. So yeah.